Threat near the U.S. Capitol Thursday had the nation on alert. Tonight, we learned the UW-Madison students in D.C. were just feet away from the suspect, who in the last few hours has been formally charged with threatening to use a weapon of mass destruction. NBC 15's Michelle Beck is live in the studio. And Michelle, you heard the eyewitness account from the students.
Yeah, Maria, the 13 students and their professor have been in Washington to study race and politics. But it was no ordinary Thursday because of who they saw on their walk to class.
I don't know what's normal for DC. I would imagine, the capital of the country is the center for a lot of crazy things to happen.
Less than 2 blocks from her classroom, UW-Madison senior Sydney Bobb stopped in her tracks.
There's just a truck in the way, and he just shouted and threw money out of the truck.
U.S. Capitol Police later identified the man parked on the sidewalk of the Library of Congress as Floyd Ray Roseberry.
He said that he had a bomb, and that was just enough for me. I'm like, whether he has one or not, get out the way.
Bob called to warn the classmates behind her.
Did you say B-O-M-B or did you say something else?
Stephanie Benton had to ask again.
Being from a smaller city, I don't think that any of us believed at first that it was an actual big threat. And so most of us were just like, okay, well, now we go to class. So we went to class.
We know Capitol Police evacuated nearby buildings, but by that time, Professor David Cannon said everyone was already inside.
The Secret Service agent told us to shelter in place. That was their original recommendation to us once we did talk to them, was stay in the building. That's where you're safest.
The class said they spent the next hour and a half talking with worried parents and keeping their eyes on the news.
Everything was decently tense, but I do think that keeping a lighter atmosphere, some people bringing humor into it, did help us.
Some gave credit to the calm of their professor.
One thing I told them, and this wasn't a joke, was that, well, now you have a good story to tell your grandchildren.
For a class they will likely never forget. And in order to evacuate, the class rerouted 3 blocks around the perimeter and made it back to the hotel safely. Live in the newsroom, Michelle Beck, NBC 15 News.